Finn Family Moomintroll, read by Sue Swallow and written by Tove Jansson. This is Chapter 3, Part 3. If you remember, the Hemulan had been rescued from the Hattifatners and he was showing off the barometer, and there's a storm coming. "A big storm?" asked Sniff anxiously. "Look for yourself," replied Moomin Papa. "The barometer points to 0, and that's the lowest a barometer can point to, if it isn't fooling us." But it certainly didn't look as if they were fooling. The golden mist had thickened to a yellow-grey fog, and out to sea, the horizon was strangely black. "We must go home," said the Snork. "Oh, not yet," begged the Snork Maiden. "We haven't had time to explore the cliff on the other side. We haven't even bathed." "We can wait a little while and see what happens, can't we?" said Moomintroll. "It would be such a pity to go home just when we've discovered the island." "But if there's a storm, we shan't be able to go at all," said the Snork brightly. He was quite pleased, I think. "That would be wonderful," burst out Sniff. "We can stay here forever and ever." "Oh, quiet, children, I must think," said Moomin Papa. He went down to the beach and sniffed the air, turned his head in all directions, wrinkled his forehead. There was a rumble in the distance. "Thunder," said Sniff. "Oh, how awful." Over the horizon loomed a threatening bank of cloud. It was dark blue and drove light, puffy clouds in front of it. Now and then a great flash of lightning lit up the sea. "We stay," decided Moomin Papa. "The whole night?" squeaked Sniff. "I think so," Moomin Papa replied. "Hurry up now and build a house, as the rain will come soon." The Adventure was dragged high up onto the sand, and on the edge of the wood they quickly made a house with the sail and some blankets. Moomin Mama filled the gaps with moss, and the Snork dug a ditch around it so the rainwater would have somewhere to go. Everybody ran to and fro, putting their things safely under cover, while the thunder rolled nearer, and a little wind came sighing anxiously through the trees. "I'll go and see what the weather's like out on the point," said Snufkin, and he pulled his hat firmly over his ears and he set off. Alone and happy, he ran out to the farthest most point of rock and put his back against a large boulder. The sea had changed. It was dark green now, with white horses, and the rocks shone yellow like phosphorus. Rumbling solemnly, the thunderstorm came up from the south. It spread its black sail across the sea. It spread over half the sky, and the lightning flashed with an ominous glint. "It's coming right over the island," thought Snufkin with a thrill of joy and excitement. He stood there facing the storm as it advanced over the sea, and suddenly he saw a small black rider on something, black like a horse with short legs. Only for a moment they were visible against the creamy white crest of the cloud bank. The rider's cloak billowed out like a wing, and they rose higher. Then they were lost in a blinding network of lightning. The clouds obscured the sun, and rain was driving like a grey curtain over the sea. "I have seen the hobgoblin," thought Snufkin. "I have seen the hobgoblin and his black panther. They really exist. They aren't just a fairy tale." Snufkin turned and skipped back over the stones. He reached the tent just in time, for heavy drops of rain were already hitting the sailcloth, and it was being whipped about in the wind. Sniff had rolled himself completely in a blanket, as he was rather afraid of thunder, and the others sat hunched up next to one another. The tent smelt strongly of the Hemulan's botanical specimens. Now there was a clap of thunder right over their heads, and their little refuge was lit up again by flashes of white light. The thunder rumbled around the sky like a great train, while the sea hurled itself and its biggest waves against Lonely Island. "What a blessing we aren't on the sea," said Moomin Mama. "Dear me, what weather!" The Snork Maiden put her trembling paw in Moomintroll's, and he felt very protective and manly. Sniff lay under his back blanket and screamed. "Now it's right over us," said Moomin Papa, and at that moment a giant flash of lightning lit up the island, followed by a rending crash. That struck something, said the Snork. It really was a bit too much. The Hemulin sat holding his head. Trouble, always trouble, he muttered. Now it began to move off to the south. The thunderclaps got farther and farther away, the lightning became fainter, and at last there was only the rustle of the rain and the sound of the sea as it broke on the shore. I won't tell them about the hobgoblin yet, thought Snufkin. They're scared enough as it is. You can come out now, Sniff, said Snufkin. It's all over. Sniff disentangled himself from the blanket, yawned and scratched his ear. He was a bit embarrassed because he'd made such a fuss. What's time? He said. Nearly 8, answered the Snork. Then I think we'll go and lie down, said Moomin Mama. All this has been very disturbing. But wouldn't it be excited to find out what the lightning has struck, said Moomintroll. In the morning, said his mother. In the morning we'll explore everything and have a bathe. Now the island is wet and grey and unpleasant. She tucked them up and then went to sleep herself with a handbag under her pillow. Outside, the storm redoubled its fury. The voices of the waves was now mixed with strange sounds, laughter, running feet, and the clanging of great bells out to sea. Snufkin lay still and listened and dreamed, and remembered his trip around the world. Soon I must set out again, he thought, but not yet. And that's the end of chapter 3.